I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What do you mean, calm it down? It's a fight. Referees telling two fighters who want to fight to calm it down? He should calm down.
I saw he's like a clown in his show, man. He's not your guy.
Because Tyson Fury's back, and all you motherfuckers are under attack.
Look, Eddie Hearn can say all what he likes. Who gives a shit what Eddie Hearn says? It's garbage.
Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?
Can you let me retire and be happy? Please? Just please.
Bombs away from the Bronx Bomber! Wilder! Let's go, baby! Let's go!
I'm through. They put somebody else up and give me an interview.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing. You ain't shit. You're not shit.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
I got dropped, man. Are you kidding? No, you won the fight.
OMG. I am so excited.
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yes. What is up, MCR family? Another daily edition of Mixed Combat Radio. I'm Matt, the Hipster Hunter. Obviously live on YouTube. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe, listen on podcast form, on iTunes. Drop that 5-star review. Listen on Spotify, iHeartRadio, any other podcast form. Share the show. Obviously, head over to patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio to help support the channel in any financial way. But today's news and topics in the boxing world, obviously, Eddie Hearn has sent or is talking about. He has extended. First it was he could send the offer. Now Mike Compter has come out and said that he has extended a multi-fight offer to Deontay Wilder. The number that he threw out for the first fight, the Tuneup fight, being $15 million for Breazeale, Whyte, or Kownacki. We're going to get into that, plus a ton of other news and topics into in the boxing world, plus the Erislandy Lara Castano fight coming up this weekend. We're going to briefly break down that card. Rob, we broke down the Jordan Gill card for a very long time yesterday on UK Hour, which is on patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio. If you want to see that, you can either go to Patreon right now or wait till Saturday morning when it gets dropped for free. But Rob in the UK, a.k.a. Robbie Hearns, a.k.a. second cousin, twice removed of Sir Eddie. Rob, how you doing this fine Thursday evening over there, afternoon here on the West Coast?
Night. Not so much evening anymore, it's night.
Well, evening, night is like the same thing, is it not? Like, when does evening end? That's a good question. Like, is midnight?
Right before night. I don't know. But yeah, hello everybody in the chat. Glad you can all be here to join us. Talking offers and Wilder and Joshua and
all
stuff
the fun
like
stuff,
that. All that good stuff. Everybody's happy about that. But it's the news, so we're going to bring it to you and talk about it, and some little theories along the way regarding that. But James DeGale, off the back of the Chris Eubank Jr. defeat, he's hung up the gloves. So shout out to him. Not carrying on with as some boxers do, and he's put on not the greatest performance and realized he's not his former self. So shout out to him, great career. But other people not so complimentary on him leaving the scene. But let's just get into it, because I'm going to touch on every topic before we talk.
Yes. Plus, we're definitely going to get into that Mayweather poaching Ryan Garcia topic, which I didn't realize, it's been there for weeks now. Like, that story has been there, and we just have not known about it, or have not talked about it, or been aware of it. But I love it. You know me, Rob. I love pettiness. I love promoter beef and a good old cease and desist order. Who can't love a story like that? But let's get into this Wilder offer, this new deal, and him being shopped around. Like I said, was a week ago, or actually maybe this week. Wilder is in a position to now get offers from every major network, and very big offers, very lucrative offers. This one from Eddie Hearn being a $15 million deal for the first fight, and then a AJ fight with a two-way rematch clause is what he mentioned in front of reporters at, I believe it was the Canelo Jacobs presser. He did a scrum. And obviously, I don't know if he added more to that when he actually sent the contract per Mike Coppinger. But Rob, preliminary thoughts, immediate thoughts on sort of this information, this sort of news, this development. We have not really spoken about it at all. I have no idea where you land on it, so I'm very curious about your take on this Eddie Hearn offer to Deontay Wilder.
Well, initial thoughts, come out, on two sides of a coin. Initial thoughts is, wow, 15 million for what, Breazeale or, whoever. That's amazing. Would he have got that without all this stuff that's happened in the recent events? Would it have happened? Would he be getting that for Breazeale? Probably not. Nowhere near that, I wouldn't imagine. And wow, the Joshua, one face, one name, one champion, the Joshua deal as part of it. Before he said, I'll fight Whyte, just put Joshua in the contract. So if it is Breazeale, which we're hearing is not confirmed, but it's kind of, there's a few media members saying they're hearing it. It's sort of happening. But that would be his mandatory dealt with, and then straight into the undisputed fight. So wow, great offer. And then the other side of my initial feeling was ain't going to happen. It's Eddie Hearn. Wilder doesn't like the guy. I don't know. And Finkel, regarding the ESPN offer, said we're not letting him go. So are they going to let him go to DAZN? Probably not. I think Wilder's probably being promised a lot of things now regarding...
Just quickly, I just want to add to it. That is also in contradiction to what I think Stephen Espinoza has talked about. Even though he has at times said, hey, we're going to keep Wilder here, he has also at times said, hey, we're going to have to work with DAZN. So I think, people are sort of, putting lines in the sand. I don't know how concrete those lines are. Just wanted to add that caveat to what you're saying. Back to you, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Monday's little Twitter conversation with Mr. Eddie Hearn
that might not help. Might not help.
That line in the sand a little more, the concrete that you mentioned. not just sand, but
that's definitely true.
Kevlar covered concrete or something. But and another thing, does Eddie know that they're not going to accept this? But has Eddie thrown this number out there to give Wilder something to go back to, Al Heyman and PBC? Say, look, because Wilder, off the back of this, even if Fury's walked away and he's been left, the fight he really wanted, but now he's come out, I'm a free agent, and now he's getting offers. So Wilder's in a great position that he can, like you said, shop himself around or go back to Al Heyman and say, look, you've seen it. You've seen the interview, and we've got the offer. We've received the offer, or whatever. 15 million for the Breazeale fight. What can you do? Talk to me. So is Eddie Hearn throwing this out there, knowing it, and he's bumping prices up? Making people dig deeper in their pockets to make the fights that necessarily wouldn't have cost this much money. It's interesting sort of theory or possibility that. Look, I think Wilder hates me, but why not put it out there, say a number, and make them pay? I don't know.
I don't really think that is the ultimate point of what Eddie Hearn is doing. I think Eddie Hearn really realistically wants Deontay Wilder on DAZN. I think Deontay Wilder would be a huge commodity on DAZN, even if it is 3 fights at most. That is a lucrative proposition for DAZN, Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, whoever it may be that would benefit from obviously Wilder being on that network. So I think that is the root cause of it. I am curious as to where this figure stacks up with what ESPN was offering him, because we know ESPN did offer him a deal. It was a 5-fight deal. We do know we don't know the monetary number, but we do know that it was supposed to have an in-between fight before the Fury fight. So obviously in line with what Eddie Hearn wants, a in-between tune-up fight before the AJ fight. His network superstar, like ESPN's network superstar in a sense, is Tyson Fury. though using superstar in a really loose relative sense right there. I ultimately think that if you're Deontay Wilder, you still wait it out. Like, you're still in control. You know, like you are still in the driver's seat. And like you said, Rob, like you now have another contract to go shop around to Fox, Showtime, whoever it may be. Maybe CBS. You know, maybe he goes really, out of the ballpark with this deal. But he is in the driver's seat. So I'm not ready to say, and I know some people are because fans are like this. They're quick to get angry or happy or to do whatever. They're just quick to do whatever and have an opinion. I still think I'd rather have Wilder wait a week or two, maybe 3 weeks, and see what's out there. See what offers are being made, what better offers are being made. Because again, right now it seems, no matter what is being offered to Deontay Wilder, we're not getting the fights we exactly want next. We're going to have an in-between fight. And I think ultimately I'm going to have to accept that and just deal with it. And I just don't like it. You know, I was in a firm mindset, hey, we get Wilder Fury 2, this quarter, maybe next quarter. AJ Miller, great serviceable U.S. debut for, while we wait for the Wilder Fury saga to end. Now that's all in question. Maybe it is the best thing for Wilder to take this $15 million Breazeale fight, a Kownacki fight, Whyte fight, whatever it may be. Though I do think if it's a Whyte fight, maybe more than $15 million. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that pay is equal to those three opponents. But that's a side topic. We don't need to delve into that. But maybe it is the best thing for Wilder to take this and have this in between fight and then go to AJ if the money is right, if the deal is right, if it makes sense. He keeps some autonomy, some sovereignty from DAZN, from Eddie. It would make sense. We don't know the information yet, so let's wait. We got rushed into a position of complete chaos in this division. I'm okay with taking a breather for a week or two and trying to figure it out if you're Deontay Wilder or even AJ with what's next in terms of contracts. Tyson Fury's monkey wrench for this ESPN deal is causing everyone to act crazy. I think the sane thing is to just be calm and to not do anything right now, honestly, and just wait and see how it unfolds.
Well, I know like Finkel's plans and I guess Showtime's plans for him to still take that May 18th date at the Barclays for whatever fight it turns out it's going to be. Mm-hmm. Now it's not Fury. So they've kind of got to make their mind up fairly soon to a point because they're going to want to announce that, do promotion for it, press conference, whatever, and camp basically. So it's not, it's not really that far away now, May 18th. So, well, I guess there's still a few, maybe like you say, a week or two to sit and mull things over and really decide. But I just think, like you said, DAZN probably would be happy to get, obviously, Deontay Wilder on their platform. But I also, it's like a double, all right, well, if he's not, Eddie throwing out figures is maybe bumping up the prices, elsewhere. If we're not going to get him, we're going to make the other companies really pay him and, sort of attack their war chest or whatever. I'm not, again, I'm not on the thing that Showtime are going to be completely broke. Although I do question at the moment their schedule. Obviously, I think they will want Deontay Wilder to be part of that Showtime roster because we got Castano and Lara and Hammer and Shield and Hammer, and that's the only stuff on Showtime at the moment that's been announced or going forward. Everything seems to be Fox, and I don't know.
Well, at least for the welterweight division right now, it does. Though, I mean, I think they're going to start alternating these guys with the network. So, like, guys that fight on Fox, their next fight's on Showtime, and then sort of alternate back and forth. Like, Keith Thurman, Charlo's, like, I would assume their next fight would be a Showtime fight. And pure speculation assumption. That's all. Just throwing that out there. And, like, a Gervonta Davis who just fought on Showtime, his next fight would probably be on Fox. At least that's what I would do. That would optimize your two networks and leverage them the best way possible.
Just rotate the talent across the channels.
And we know that from the reporting that both of those network deals are relatively the same in terms of monetary value. So
is it 40 million a year, something like that? 40
it's more like 60 million a year each.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I don't know. The thing is, I think that's where I think a little bit of all these pay-per-views are coming from, because you suddenly start paying, like Mike is rumored to be getting like 10 million plus or whatever. That's a big chunk in one fight of view. So we're putting that one on pay-per-view. I mean, it's the same with Eddie. He's done, like the Dillian Whyte. People say like he's a pay-per-view guy over here. But people think, Dillian Whyte, really? What, what? But the kind of the money these fighters are demanding for certain fights, the networks just aren't able to, throw that out there and cover that. So, we'll put it on pay-per-view then. That'll help make the payments and make a bit more money on it. But yeah, it's just interesting. But I really cannot see Deontay Wilder doing work with Eddie Hearn. I mean, he did say in the thing that it's not like a co-promotional thing. I'm not asking him to like sign to Matchroom. Just come and fight on the zone.
Well, my issue with this is that ultimately he has no leverage in this sort of offer, because two of the fighters he mentioned are PBC fighters. So like he's offering, chess pieces that aren't his. That's, I think, his fundamental flaw with his offer, is that he's going to offer this monetary number and fights that he doesn't have. Like he doesn't have Breazeale. He doesn't have Kownacki. He has done Whyte, obviously. Like, don't get me wrong, but two of the three he does not have. Those are Al Heyman fighters. Those are in-house PBC fights. So they could, and like we've said, like we know that there's backroom money. I think it's completely possible that Heyman tells Wilder, look, you're gonna make that plus more if you fight Breazeale on Showtime or Fox or whatever it may be, or Kownacki, whoever your opponent is in-house. And you're going to do great ratings on Showtime or Fox because it's Deontay Wilder, and we're going to move on. And we're going to figure out what's next after that. And I think ultimately that might be what happens, because again, they got money too. PBC has money, Fox gave them money, Showtime gave them money. They have just as much in their war chest, PBC speaking, from networks as Matchroom does with DAZN. So they have enough to keep a guy like Deontay Wilder, absolutely. I think we're hopefully going to see Deontay Wilder realize, hey, I have a lot of self-worth with this industry, and try to capitalize on that. Whoever it may be. That I think is the ultimate, like, I hope like that happens in this situation, is that all these guys get paid. AJ, Wilder, Fury. That's all I care about at this point, because we're not getting the best fights. Like, that's clearly not happening right now. Like, we need to stop sort of demanding that at this point, because they are just not going to do it. Us hardcore shouting in this echo chamber aren't going to make Eddie Hearn say, you know what, forego this mandatory fight. Hey, I'll give you how about this? You just wait out, or you take that Breazeale fight on Showtime. Here's this offer right now on the table. You can sign it. You can fight AJ September with the two-way rematch clause. That's all we need. He could do that. We're just not going to do it. We're never going to get that. And I'm okay with moving on and just hoping these guys get paid.
Yeah. Look, at some point, like you say, I feel Wilder's at some kind of got to really grab his career and his future, like by the scruff of the neck, and really get everything he can now. Because I'm not saying he's an old heavyweight, but he's not a young one really either. He's sort of in that sort of middle ground now where he needs big fights and he needs the big money. He's talked about generational wealth and that kind of thing.
He's already getting that though. That's the funny part, is like this is all the cherry on top, right? In my opinion. Like,
yeah, but
if you look at the money he's making, and you compare that to combat sports as a whole, he's making more money guaranteed than Conor McGregor, John Jones in the UFC. Those are guys that do million plus pay-per-view buy rates out the gate all the time, right? He makes more than those two guys. Like, we're talking about a guy that has obviously optimized and capitalized on his career already. I think we just don't understand that. I think, like, boxing fans, like, we see the Mayweather wealth and we think, oh, that is the very top. No, that is a stratosphere that is not reached, period. You got guys like Canelo, AJ that are right under that, Manny Pacquiao too, Mike Tyson throughout his career that are just under that. And you have people Wilder who are just under that, barely under that. He's making so much. Like I think it's a mischaracterization to say that Wilder. And again, do I think he could capitalize on his leverage even more so now? Yes, but I think, like I said, it's the cherry on top. He's already done a lot to capitalize on his career, and I think him being a free agent is part of that as well.
Yeah, and all I meant was obviously he sees himself as the baddest man on the planet. He's the WBC champion. He sees himself as the #1 heavyweight, but meanwhile, in his eyes, the #2 and the #3 have got these big, bigger paychecks coming in now. With Fury doing a big deal and Joshua with his Sky 100 million and DAZN and that paying top dollar. That he feels that he's #1, but like, why aren't I getting? I want some of this, So he's in that position now, and I hope he really thinks it through and goes out and gets the best deal for him. If he still deems that I've Showtime and Al have done well done just fine by me and everything, there's no reason for me to go elsewhere. Then great, but then what the narrative will be. All he had to do was sign with Eddie Hearn and make 15 million and then get the Joshua fight. But that's up to everybody else to sort of discuss and choose. He's this, that, or the other for not signing or for signing or whatever. But yeah, it's just interesting sort of games and whatever's going to go on. But I guess we will find out fairly soon. I'm sure an interview with Deontay will come out at some point, or Mike Coppinger will report that he's committed his future to Showtime, or he's signed with Eddie Hearn, or anything. But it will all break down eventually, and we'll find out exactly what's what.
Agree. Ready to move on if we can? Yeah. Do you want to briefly mention that we could potentially see another Steven Espinoza, Eddie Hearn Twitter beef today, ladies and gentlemen? Just want to put that on the radar, everyone. Like, hey,
keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah, get your binoculars out. Get the lawn chair ready. Get your popcorn made.
Turn your notifications on for Eddie Hearn tweets and Steven Espinoza tweets.
Because Mike Coppinger came out. Source says Eddie Hearn extended a multi-fight offer to Deontay Wilder last night, but as of now, still hasn't heard back. Second fight of proposed deal would be unification with Anthony Joshua. Espinoza replied, but because neither a contract nor proof of funds was sent, the offer must not be real. Right? With 3 question marks. Wow. That's hilarious. Everyone's like really triggered by me saying that Deontay Wilder makes more guaranteed than guys like Conor McGregor and John Jones. I'm sorry.
I can't even comment. I don't know what they make. All I know is Conor made a fuck ton of money, but that was for fighting Mayweather.
Yeah, again, that's an isolated case, right? Like, that doesn't count. But Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz, a fight that did like 1.6 million pay-per-view buys. Conor McGregor's guaranteed purse was $2 million, guys. $2 million. John Jones just fought Alexander Gustafsson in December. I was at that event. I was credentialed for it for ShareDog. I interviewed those people. I interviewed John Jones and Dana Whyte. That fight did 700,000 pay-per-view buys. John Jones made $500,000 guaranteed. I'm sorry I'm triggering you guys saying that a guy that did half that number in pay-per-view buys made $4 million. At least. But anyways, digressing.
That was disclosed.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. It's guaranteed.
Yeah.
That's all we can go off of is that number at the end of the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
If a guy like John Jones is making $500K in base pay, and a guy like Wilder's making $4 million in base pay, what are you talking about? Like, really? Come on. You guys are crazy. But anyways, let's move on. I don't know why people are so triggered about Deontay Wilder being successful. That's a discussion for another time. What topic should we go to next? Let's get to this one. Let's get to the Ryan Garcia, Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather all that fun shit. I gotta say, this whole... Let me just read some of this. And again, the breadcrumbs were here, guys. We should have known that Ryan Garcia was trying to jump ship from Golden Boy and Oscar. The writing was on the wall. Let me get the dramatic music out. Start reading this article.
They should do a swap. We'll take Tank off your hands. You can have Ryan Garcia.
I don't know who wins in that. I'll be honest.
I think Golden Boy, if they signed Tank.
Yeah. You're probably right about that. I mean, they can't do a worse job than Mayweather with promoting him, right?
No,
they can't. But let's get to this article. Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s familiarity with the NBA is no secret, as the unbeaten retired boxer is a constant courtside attendee at Staples Center for Lakers and Clippers game. But now, according to a cease and desist letter filed by Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions, Mayweather has trapezed. I don't know that word. I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I don't know. Too closely to duplicate in the same tampering line that found the Lakers' LeBron James in hot water over his not-so-subtle tempting of New Orleans Pelicans star Anthony Davis. 3 sources unauthorized to speak publicly on the matter told The Times that attorneys for De La Hoya and Golden Boy have filed legal notification to Mayweather, for Mayweather to stop what they perceive as tampering this month with Victorville's unbeaten lightweight Ryan Garcia, De La Hoya's top prospect. After Garcia bypassed watching a Golden Boy card, and this is where it gets fishy, guys. Okay, tune in here. Like this, get your ears fine-tuned for this part. After Garcia bypassed watching a Golden Boy card in India February 9th to attend the WBA super featherweight title defense of unbeaten Mayweather promoted Gervonta Davis Carson the same night. Mayweather said in a video he had a deal for Garcia. And now, you know what, Rob? I gotta stop the music here because I actually remember this, and I didn't really think much of it at the time. You know,
it's only popped up again because of De La Hoya doing this cease and desist order or whatever he's put in place. But it came up that this kind of offer was made a little time before.
I'll be honest. I was reading a comment in the live chat. I didn't hear you. I'll be completely honest.
No, all I said was the offer news sort of came out sort of a few weeks before this cease and was it cease and desist? I nearly said deceased.
Yes.
But
they're not dead. They're not dead. No,
not yet. That's why this has cropped up again. But since De La Hoya's sent this order thing.
And quickly, because I don't want to keep reading it in that voice. Like that actually hurts my throat. Basically, the gist of it is that he showed up at Mayweather's birthday party. He's been offered $200,000 to spar Mayweather's guys. He's been offered a lot, and he's been around Mayweather a lot in the recent few weeks. Rob, do we think this is anything? Do we read much into this, or is it just Mayweather and Oscar fighting amongst each other?
Yeah, it's just, in the great words of Usyk, cue the soundbite, is bullshit, or is that Triple G? I don't even know who it is.
That is definitely Usyk.
It's bullshit.
Yeah, I'm not even...
2 Eastern European guys. I mean, even though, is Kazakhstan technically Eastern European? That might be Central Asian.
I don't know. Look, traipsed means walked. Okay, so he walked too close to the line, and that's an English lesson. I'm not doing fucking geography as well.
Well, do you know, or are you just trying to make a joke about?
I don't know where it falls in geographically, as in, is it classed as Eastern European?
I don't even know if it's in Europe. I'm actually curious about that. I mean, I guarantee somebody in the chat would be like, no, it's this place. And then somebody else would be like, no, it's this continent. But anyways, digressing. Back to Ryan Garcia being poached by Mayweather and whether we actually believe it. Is it going to happen or not?
No, I think it's just Floyd being Floyd. Look, Ryan's a fucking adult. He's making babies and shit, so he's all right. Just doesn't need uncle. What? I'm just saying.
Why throwing shade on the kid, man?
I'm not throwing shade on the kid. Well, adult. He's fine. I'm just saying that's it. Exactly. He's fine. You don't need Oscar throwing out fucking cease and desist. Like, just fucking whatever. Just it's all good. What's Ryan Garcia going to say? Oh yeah, I want to sign with Floyd and break contracts and shit like that. No, he's not. He's Golden Boy's Golden Boy at the moment, you know. Well, Golden Boy's
second.
Golden Boy Junior under Canelo, the real Golden Boy of Golden Boy.
Golden Boy the third.
Yeah,
because technically, like Canelo's Golden Boy Junior, right? Like Canelo's under Oscar, you know, like.
Yeah, he's like Scrappy Doo Golden Boy, or
oh my god, he is totally Scrappy Doo.
Oh
my god, that is so good.
Yeah, you know, it's fine. Uncle Oscar's had to come wading in with, you know, some kind of litigation or, you know, lawyer bullshit. It's like, why didn't you just go on Twitter? You know, he likes to turn to Twitter sometimes and see all the hate comments come in after he tweets something. But he could, you know, at Floyd Mayweather, stay away from my fighter. You've been, you know, just whatever, and just doesn't need to get. Yeah, you love the pettiness. It's all good. It's fine.
It's fun, man. Hey, I mean, I'll be honest. I'll take 10 of these news stories any day of the week over a contract offer to X fighter for Y million of dollars. Those get tiring at the end of the day. I'd rather talk about like when the deal's made.
But you need to go all old on this and pour water on it like you did the Eddie and Espinosa stuff.
Well, I just don't think like. I mean, how do I pour water on it? I don't think any of us really think that like Ryan Garcia is going to leave Golden Boy. I mean,
right? I kind of put water on it anyway. You know, that scary water.
But I will be honest, man. Like if like in some like weird world that does happen, where they were able to poach Ryan Garcia, that would be hilarious. I will pay some money to live in that universe. I'll be honest. Let's get to this Joseph Parker sort of news and how really what I think you said in the chat, Rob, you know, Joseph Parker now willing to reschedule the Derek Chisora fight all of a sudden. So Tyson Fury turned down Joseph Parker as well, right? That's what we're thinking here.
Kind of. You know, Higgins, the mad promoter of Joseph Parker, said like Chisora's team weren't realistic. He wanted a longer training camp. They said something along the lines of they wanted him here on short camp, you know, on jet lag legs and shit like that. Well, you can avoid jet lag legs by maybe training here or something. It's not rocket science, but yeah, and that they were gonna approach Team Fury, but now, actually, do you mind if we fight Chisora again? It's like Bob Aaron's gone, get the fuck out of here. This is our big investment. He ain't fighting a former champion, a current champion.
Anyone with the pulse.
Yeah. I don't know, you know, Oscar Rivas carries power late on. He stopped Jennings.
Yeah, hey, I'll be honest, that makes me concerned of us even trying to get the Rivas fight. Like, we might get a really bad fight for this ESPN Plus debut, people. Like, put your expectations as low as possible. I'm talking like Safari rematch. Like, I'm saying like it's going to be that level of bad.
I say bring in the number 16 ranked US heavyweight.
Yo, I knew the second you said a word, I'll be honest, and that's I'm like, oh my god, you're going to bring up fucking Oliver McCall. I knew it. God damn it.
That would be great. You know, he's high up in the rankings in the America. He's number 16.
The
top 15.
The box rec rankings. The box rec rankings. God damn.
Yeah, but no, yeah. Joseph Parker. I don't know. It's looks like that April 20th card's still going ahead, but I'm not sure quite how it's going to play out and I think Dave Allen and Lucas Brown's still on it as we stand at the moment. But yeah, Joseph Parker, he's maybe looked at it and Fury didn't want to know, or Bob didn't want to know. It's like, don't worry, Joseph, we'll get you one a bit further down the line. You know, I know we've got sort of an option on you in some way that you'll get a fight over here, but not yet. We need Fury to get some exposure, so we don't want you. But yeah, no, it's strange. But will we see Chisora Parker? Sounds like it might happen a little bit further down the line in a few months' time, maybe. But yay.
Yay is true. Yay is definitely true.
I did like the fight, Chisora Parker. I did like the fight because it was looking like a sort of a mini sort of heavyweight.
Oh, you meant like the matchup?
Yeah. I did like the fight for April 20th.
Very quickly here, because somebody in the chat is still sorry, Rob. This person has been like still on this whole Conor McGregor thing and still so triggered about it.
People?
No. It's very quickly, because they brought up like, hey, the Conor McGregor Khabib fight that did 2.4 million buys, right? Conor's guaranteed purse for that fight was $3 million. Was $3 million. Again, Deontay Wilder in a fight that did 325,000 pay-per-view buys was guaranteed a base pay of $4 million. Stop. It's okay. It's okay that Wilder is successful and is a draw, people, and can make money. It's okay, chat. I know, like, other people than UK people can succeed. It's okay. Relax. But anyways, Rob, back to whatever you were saying.
No, I've got to do the Eddie Hearn reply. But in the words of Elsa, let it go.
Oh, you wanted me to sing? Oh.
No. I was doing the Eddie Hearn little GIF as well. That was the tweet. He used the GIF of himself. I
kind of realized that after I asked what you were doing right there. And I was like, oh, he was in the GIF. Oh, damn. That was not a good look. I'm so glad the podcast listeners did not see that. But anyways, digressing. I'll agree with you. I really liked the Parker Chisora fight. Like, I thought that made so much sense from like a matchup standpoint, from a career standpoint, for both guys. It's a money fight for Chisora still, even if he's sort of towards the end of his career. Like, he wants still probably big fights to make money, even though he's off a loss. It just made a lot of sense to me. And when we were the original plan of a Whyte Breazeale fight and then Parker Chisora as the co-main event, I was really hyped on that card. Like, I thought that just made the most sense in the world. Like, that was perfect matchmaking. And now Joseph Parker might be left out in the cold in a way. You know, similar to like Dylan Whyte, where is Chisora going to move on now and find another opponent? Tyson Fury is obviously saying no to Parker. Like, I don't know if now Parker's now going to go fight a shit opponent because everyone is doing their own thing in a way. But Rob, any last thoughts on Parker, Chisora, and it maybe happening again or not happening, and Fury saying no mas to Parker in our rumored conspiracy theory?
like I said, that's our kind of
that's 100% our conspiracy theory, yes.
Yeah, and it's probably right because we're great.
We're 100% right. Allegedly.
We're 100% right 87.2% of the time. No, again, I like the Parker fight for Chisora. I didn't think it was going to be Parker for Fury when we first heard the news and we were trying to figure out just who might Fury fight. But because I've been thinking, because there were rumors or potential other opponent for Usyk was Robert Helenius. But so is he floating around in the heavyweight?
No.
No, is he floating around for someone like more for a Parker or a Fury? Are we going to get Fury Helenius?
Yo, that literally made me sick to my stomach when you mentioned that matchup. Like, I almost threw up in a way. Like, that was disgusting.
I had a bit of stick in my mouth when I said it.
God. And, you know, obviously, like, Luis Ortiz fights in 2 days. Like, it's very possible Luis Ortiz gets a second round, third round knockout, and he's completely healthy and good to fight again in the next 4, 5, 6 months. So Luis Ortiz is an option again in 3 days, 4 days most likely, unless he has a tough fight with
The Hammer.
Yeah, Christian Hammer, and God, I can't believe we have to break down that fight. But back to your point, I think Parker is still in a good position because I think he brings in a fan base, like a regional fan base from New Zealand, the Oceanic area. I think that has some value even in boxing. Plus, he's a former champion. He's young. He's been on some big stages before. He's going to be in with a big fight again soon, in my opinion. I think it's a matter of when, not if, Joseph Parker is back in with a big name in the heavyweight division. And Chisora, I think because of just his name value and being like that veteran sort of status, he's going to probably only look for big fights to sort of end his career. Rob, whoa, relax.
Whoa.
Relax.
He's going to call me Foo. Jesus.
Oh, my God. Relax. Any last thoughts on Parker Chisora?
I've done my last thoughts when you asked me.
I know, but I ranted on. I didn't know if you have anything to bounce off of what I said. Maybe you had some rebuttal. That's all. We can move on if you want to.
No. I know you got half an eye on the chat in case someone's baiting you with, but what did Conor get on the back end? I've seen that a few times.
So annoying, guys. What did Wilder make on the back end? Oh, shit, you guys don't know. That's right.
Not as much as other people. But anyway, next topic.
Let's get to... you sent this. I have it in the docket. I don't know why we have it in the docket, but I have it in the docket. It's the whole Canelo. If Jacobs is concerned with judging, he's already lost. You put this in the docket, Rob, so I don't know why you put this in the docket. I'll let you lead.
I didn't even really want to talk about it. It's because you got all like, wait. Is that all there is? This offer? I don't want to talk about it. I'm sick of heavyweight bullshit.
I am so sick of heavyweight bullshit. I really hope that our listeners can both understand that I'm very sick of talking about the heavyweight bullshit, and they can sympathize with it and aren't turned off by it. That I'm just continually upset every show and frustrated.
It's got you saying stupid shit like Wilder's doing all right for himself.
He is doing all right for himself. That's
I'm joking.
Oh my God. Yo, why do you do this to me, Rob? Why?
I'm fucking around. So yeah, no, I'll put that in there. I just there's also stuff that Canelo is saying I haven't put. It's not me that's put the 10 pound rehydration clause in. It's the IBF have done this. So I don't know if that's true or if it's the IBF of semi-punishing Jacobs for completely not bothering with the weight when he fought Triple G. But yeah, look, Eddie Hearn did a rousing speech, got a lot of almost standing ovation at the first presser. I
didn't watch it. I'll be honest.
He didn't. You know what he's like? He was kind of like Cinco de Mayo. What a wonderful festivities, a big moment for you guys.
You're getting so much better at it, Rob. Oh my God. Now I could close my eyes. Hold on. Start talking again. Hold on.
Oh, I'm gonna lose it now. You've got me out my flow. I was building into it and now I fucked it. But then he went, but not this year.
Oh, that wasn't
the same thing. I told you fucked it.
That kind of sounded like Eddie.
See how I do it without realizing. But he said, I believe I've got the #1 middleweight on the planet and all that. And then it was almost like semi-standing ovation, crowd were cheering, and he was like, thank you. Sat down. And then the guy came back to the podium, was like, that's why he's like one of the #1 promoters in the game. He knows how to own a mic. I thought, oh my God, are they going to get him out of the fucking building? His head's just totally swelled. But yeah, I don't know. I guess the feeling is when Jacob's saying he's concerned about the judging, it feels like to get a win against Canelo on points in Vegas. Really? Is that going to happen? I don't know. I guess Jacob's saying what a lot of fans probably feel.
It's a good talking point.
But Canelo, just him talking like that, he's lost already, kind of, he's not even talking it.
Which is a good response.
It is, they've been pictured together today. I guess they've been doing some kind of media stuff today.
I will admit, though, I expected Jacob to be taller. Like, the height difference and advantage to be even more so.
Oh, bigger than he is.
Yeah, I would expect it to be more of a
Rocky.
Yeah,
Rocky
yeah. Honestly, I did. I'm shocked that Canelo is like up to like his forehead. You know, like the height advantage isn't as much. I don't know if Canelo's growing in his late 20s. Maybe, but
maybe he had his promoter's heels on.
Maybe he had some really nice shoes on. I don't know. But Jacobs looks like he's dressed to the nines as well. So I would assume Jacobs has like some good 1-inch heels on those nice shoes. Like all dress shoes nowadays. So, but
whereas you thought he was maybe wearing Gary Glitter's glam rock sort of big boots. He was going to look Rocky Fielding size, but
hold on. Let me get my joke off. Or the red cowboy boots from Mayweather. Those are nice.
Oh yeah, sweet.
Yes,
nice.
yes.
Yeah. They looked really good on Cowboys.
No, those boots don't look good on Cowboys at all, or on anyone. Let's just get that directly out of the way.
All I wanted to see was Floyd do a couple of hold up and do a few little do-si-dos and back and forth, and a bit of line dancing. That would have looked. Floyd would have just carried off Mr. Cool even better than that. Straight down girl collection in those. Beautiful.
Quickly, let's move on to these topics and get to callers. 323-870-4051. Press 1 to get in the queue. If you're international, call in via Skype. Add Mixed Combat Radio. If I see Unrivaled Boxing Talking News, just call in on Skype. I'll see you eventually. Don't worry. Let's get to these last few topics of the day and the fights come up this weekend, and try to go through this as fast as possible because I'm tired. I'll be honest. Boxing has done me dirty this week. I'm a little burnt out, Rob. I'll be honest. I am. It's been a rough week, man. It's been like, God. We can't have nice things.
Well, look, boxing has done James DeGale pretty dirty this last week, and he's, had a worse week than you, maybe. He's walking away from the sport.
Yo, Carl Froch, man, he is so mean to James DeGale. God damn.
Are we doing that now?
I don't have the tweet up, man. That's the bad part.
Do you want me to get it? Do you want me to read it?
Yeah. Send to me, and we can discuss that. Because goddamn, what is up his ass? But let's get to this Artur Beterbiev news. By way of Jason Tufay, I think is his name in French. I deeply apologize if I got that wrong. By way of Nancy Audette from TVA Sports, Artur Beterbiev is no longer under contract with Yavon Mitchell, and apparently the contract was tied to the contract with Heyman, which is also now done. So for those that are keeping track, Yavon Mitchell went from 3 light heavyweight champions to 0 in the span of 3 months, and on top of that, Beterbiev no longer a Heyman fighter. I don't have real in-depth analysis on this other than it's news, it's relevant. Beterbiev is on ESPN now. Kind of makes sense as that he ended that relationship, even though we know Eddie Alvarez still has a relationship, I think, with Yavon Mitchell. Just curious as to maybe why it is, but again, that would be pure speculation, and I never do that on this show. And for the sake of time, let's continue to move on. Let's talk about this Erislandy Lara, Brian Castano card. Sorry, Rob, you want to talk about Beterbiev. I apologize.
No, not really.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
No, I guess he's going to be on ESPN, and I believe listening to a few podcasts which involve Coppinger and Mannix and stuff. They Bob Arum has kind of got options on Kovalev, so it looks like he will be ESPN kind of going forward. I know we sort of heard from Cafe Duva his next fight was on ESPN, but it's pretty, I don't know, obvious his future looks like it will be over at ESPN, but so I guess we can look forward to maybe a Beterbiev and Kovalev fight at some point. Obviously ESPN is where the 175-pound division is at the moment. I know Bivol is over on DAZN, but there's a lot of talk that he's going to be going down to super middleweight anyway. So, yeah, I don't know if that's a Callum Smith fight down the line, maybe, but yeah, well, again, see how things pan out. We're waiting on a lot of news right now, really, for Usyk, Callum Smith, all those guys, and who's fighting who next.
That reminds me, Callum Smith, he really needs to stop, or I should say, Gallagher needs to stop mentioning everyone's name in these two divisions. Like, just get a fucking fight, man. Like, you just got the belt. Like, have a single defense, please.
Before it's looking like it is going to be a defense. No, I think that is kind of been mentioned now.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to move up straight off the bat. I just thought his management team, his team would not advise him to do that. But anyways, to the fights this weekend, Erislandy Lara versus Brian Castano. It's not a atrocious fight. Like, I know, like, I've sort of been shitting on it, and like we have, and I think most people do. It's not the worst fight. It's just not a big fight. It's not a fight. It's not really a main event, in my opinion as well. Like, that's another problem. Like, if this was a co-main event to a decent fight that with some better name value, I think we wouldn't care at all. I think we'd be more hyped for it. Because it is a good undefeated prospect, a guy that does have a really good amateur pedigree, a guy that's beaten people like Earl Spence in the amateurs, has like a 200 amateur career, 200 fight amateur career. Again, a good prospect Argentinian, so that comes with a lot of pedigree on top of it. I just think, again, it's the biggest main event this weekend in a not so great card, not so great weekend for boxing. It's sort of just an off weekend. It's even worse than last weekend, Rob, when we had 3 cards and they were all kind of shit, right? I would say.
Well, I enjoyed them.
I mean, you could enjoy them, but I mean, from like name value,
yeah,
in orders of magnitude, what they like relevance, like they didn't matter. We have 2 cards this weekend, arguably 3 if you're including tonight's card on UFC Fight Pass, the boxing card, Roy Jones Promotions, which we'll get to as well. A brief mention of that.
Frank Warren's card on Friday night.
Nope, that's next week. That's next week. You got that wrong on UK Hour.
Well, then you got it wrong. She made me think it was this week because Midi said this week.
No. Don't say I was wrong. Midi was the one on UK Hour, again, patreon.com/MixCombatRadio. Midi was the one that was like, hey, you guys are forgetting, Dubois Yard on Friday, Frank Warren, blah, blah, blah. And that sounds just like him, right? That was good.
Yeah, it sounded just like Espinoza. You got it. You nailed it. I'm joking.
Anything like Espinoza. And you were like, oh, well, I just looked it up. Yeah, the card was on Friday. No, it's next Friday. But digressing. Back to my point. Again, this fight in and of itself is not a bad fight. I like sort of a young undefeated prospect going up against a really good veteran like Lara. I like those matchups, to be honest. Plus the stylistic matchup. Castano is a come forward, aggressive knockout artist. Lara is obviously, as Erislandy Lara, he's a defensive wizard on the back foot with great counters, great timing. Not the greatest output. Kind of boring sometimes, but we know what he is. Plus, we have Luis Ortiz versus Christian Hammer. I don't care to talk about that fight. That should be a second-round knockout at most. One of the Gary Russell brothers is on the card, and one of Francis Bartholomew's brother, Ludin Bartholomew, I think is how you pronounce his name, is also on the card. And Richardson Hitchens, is on the card. That's about it. That's all that we have for big fights this weekend, other than the Jordan Gill card on DAZN. If you want a breakdown of that, UK Hour on Patreon. Rob, your thoughts on Lara, Castano, Luis Ortiz, Gary Russell Brothers, Jr., whatever, all the fights on this card, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. The same as you said. Like, this just doesn't feel like a main event, and that Ortiz and Hammer doesn't feel like a co-main. It's like this needs one more above that, and then you'd get Ortiz and Hammer maybe opening like a triple header, like the opening fight, and then you'd get Castano, Lara underneath on top of that, and then like a main event. You'd think you'd expect maybe like a Charlo or something to be the top of this card. But as it stands, we've got Castano and Lara. I think it could be a fun fight actually. I think Lara been around a long time now. You got Castano, who's quite a pressure fighter, and throws. I think from what I've seen, he looks like he throws a lot of punches. You know, he's quite aggressive minded. So, and I think it could be actually quite a fun fight. It's just this is kind of like you said about the DAZN card in like Tijuana. Like you look at it and go, fucking hell. But I actually watched it.
This is far better. This is far better than that.
No. I'm just saying,
Okay.
like you look at it and think, fuck man, wow.
And
because I was up late, I put it on and was like, oh, this is a fun fight. Oh, this one's a fun fight. Oh, it's not bad. You know, the names aren't great, but
I'll put it this way, Rob.
Fun fights.
This is one of those cards. If we weren't doing a daily podcast about boxing, we would skip this card and maybe watch it on DVR the next day.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So immediately when you look at it, you go, but I think if you tune in, this might actually be a real good fight. You know, it will be a good fight to watch. But it just doesn't jump out. You think, oh wow, I've really got to make sure I don't miss this card. But this actual card doesn't make me think, oh well, yay. But so it's not setting Bill coming into fight week. You're not thinking, oh yeah, it's fight week. You know, you're like, whatever. I haven't watched any of the footage of it. I haven't really watched any YouTube stuff on it.
I haven't seen any YouTube stuff for it. I'll be honest. Like, I haven't seen any real coverage of this event on YouTube or media overall for boxing. Like, I just have not seen it.
It's there. You know, there's certain channels.
So Top Dog, skip a world title fight. Come on, fellas. It's the WBA regular belt. Stop, Top Dog. Stop. Don't be biased.
Yeah, it's not like it's the gold belt, you know?
Stop. This is not a world title fight, and you know that. It's a guy coming off a fucking loss fighting an undefeated prospect. While we have Jarrett Hurd and fucking Tony Harrison and Jamel Charlo at the top. What are you talking about? Stop. Don't champion bullshit sanctioning bodies like that.
Why are people doing this to me? Why are they triggering you like this?
And you know what's sad is, like, look, Top Dog, I know he's more of a PBC guy in the chat. And now I'm going to get, like, the UK guys on my side. And then the second I start talking shit about sanctioning bodies when it comes to AJ or Whyte or whoever, right, I'm going to get the UK fanboys in the chat hating on me and Top Dog being on my side. It's just the way it is. You know, when you're down the middle being objective, you're going to get fucking haters on both sides. It is what it is. Top Dog saying regular belts need love too. No, they don't. Fuck those regular belts. And I'll be honest. No, I'll be honest, Top Dog. If you are loving the regular belt, I question you. I question A, your intelligence. I question B, your integrity as a boxing fan. No, don't give the regular belts any love. Fuck them. Move on. Rob, any thoughts?
What on that or the next fight? The like you say, Ortiz Hammer. I don't think it would necessarily be as quick as you thought. I thought we were going to see Ortiz knock Kaufman out within a fucking couple of rounds, but he took him long. So
that was crazy.
Christian Hammer, I would suggest, has got a little bit more about him than Travis Kaufman. So I expect this could go a little bit longer than you're suspecting. But I think nothing other than an Ortiz win. But just pick a round. I guess you can decide, but I think it'll go a little longer. But it's nice to see Gary Russell out this year. We'll wait on the real one to come and fight sometime. Get his yearly bus trip, go to a fight and be part of it. I don't know, but who else was on the card? Very quick. Who was
we have
Hitchens.
Yeah, Richardson Hitchens, who's a really good prospect.
Yeah, I like him. Yeah, he looks pretty cool. So
fun interview, exciting fighter.
Again, look, for me, this is like some of the UK cards, and I look down the list and go, "Oh, Anthony Fowler's on it. Oh, so other young guys are on it. I've been invested in their journey so far. I'll watch that. Main event's not really, making me, settle down for a great night, but." I tune in because that's the beauty of a lot of the UK stuff is we get to see on TV the debuts, the 0-2, 0-3, 0-4 as they build their career, so you get kind of a chance to get invested in certain fighters. But you know, yeah, it's not the greatest card in the world, but there could be some fun fights on it.
Yes, this is a Showtime card. Is this on ITV?
I don't know actually. Well, let me check.
Yeah, if you can do that, that'd be nice. Let me briefly run down the other fights of note this weekend. I'm using of note in air quotes there. UFC Fight Pass card for boxing. Roy Jones Promotions tonight on UFC Fight Pass. If you don't know what that is, just type in UFC Fight Pass .com. It'll pop up. It's like a $10 a month thing for a bunch of content, fighting content. So if you want to do it, go for it. If you don't, totally understand. Ray, I'm going to butcher this name, Gary. And that's why I'm bringing you on right now, Gary, to talk about this fight. And then I'm going to actually hang up on you. Not hang up on you. I mean mute you. The hang up sounds like I'm going to kick him off the show. No, I'm just going to mute you. And then go back to you for your full call, okay, Gary? So, Gary, who is it that you want us to highlight on this card exactly?
His name is Jimenez. It's spelled with an X, but it's pronounced like with a J. Jimenez.
It's pronounced like with a J, as in like the Spanish J or like an English J?
Yeah. No, like a Spanish J. Like
okay. Okay.
Jimenez. It's Jimenez.
All right. Ray Jimenez versus Luis Alberto Lopez, the main event. Gary, what do you know about Jimenez?
I'm actually at the arena today. I will be at the fight.
Ooh.
It's literally in the middle of nowhere. It's in Topanish, Washington.
Yo, go get some interviews for us.
Roy's here. I had breakfast with Roy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Okay, so Jimenez is a featherweight prospect. He's 25, I think. He's got one loss in Puerto Rico to Chris Diaz, probably in 2015, 2016.
Christopher Diaz?
Really controversial. Christopher Diaz,
okay.
Yeah. The top-ranked fighter.
Yeah.
Could have went either way, but it was in Puerto Rico, and like Chris Diaz getting the decision was fine. Diaz probably won the fight. It was just the scorecards were absolutely ridiculous. I think two of the judges had a 50-50 fight, a shutout for Diaz. I would compare it to like when Robert Easter fought Shafikov, and it's like, okay, Easter probably won, but those scorecards were ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It was that kind of fight. I mean, you could have got it to a draw, but the scorecards were absurd. It was in Puerto Rico, and it was just really bad scorecard. Other than that, he hasn't really been tested. He was a big amateur prospect. So this is a step-up fight, and Roy Jones wants to get him in with Valdez by the end of this year or early next year. So this will tell a lot on exactly where he is.
Thank you. I'll go back to you after we wrap up this part, Gary. Don't worry about it, and we go to the rest of your call. Also, this weekend in Thailand, undefeated legend right now, Renhang Manothan versus Tatsuya Fukuhara for the WBC strawweight title. There's no way to watch that one legally in, I believe, the U.S. or U.K., so if you want to watch that, find a link on YouTube or illegally. And again, we do not support piracy or illegal streaming here at MCR. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If you want some help, allegedly, you can probably hit me up on social media about Hunter MCR, and I can probably find you a link allegedly. Moving on. What else is on this weekend?
DeGale, do you want me to read the Froch?
That's about. Oh, also, sorry, very quickly, just want to. Then we go to Froch DeGale. Also, in Columbus, Ohio, Junior Fa of New Zealand or Australian heritage. The guy that's been talked about, Joseph Parker, forever, right, as like his rival in the amateurs. He's fighting in Columbus, Ohio on, get this, Rob. You want to know how to watch it in the U.S.?
Go.
You can find at live dot, in all caps now, DB, B as in boy, E1, like the number 1.com.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, of course. You haven't heard of DBE1.com? It's the great website, man. Great sports streaming site.
I have it bookmarked and everything.
How do you have a worse name than DAZN? Honestly. Like, the zone's a pretty bad name, and like DBE1, that's really bad. But anyways, Rob, let's. Did you send me that tweet? Because I want to show the people.
Yeah, let me just read. James DeGale this morning put out a statement.
Like the nice shit, not the funny shit. Okay.
No, I'm just saying he put out. I just wanted to read his retirement statement,
and
then we can give other fighters' reactions. It's hard to admit that I'm not the fighter I once was, but I'm human, and along the way, my injuries have taken their toll, both on my mind and my body, and these things have contributed to impact my performance in the ring. I lost the fight on Saturday at the O2, but I'm touched to have a good send-off from the fans in my home city. The day after the fight, someone said to me that one fight does not determine a legacy. Looking back, if someone had told me the start of my boxing career when I was in the England squad that I would become Olympic gold medalist, British and European champion, and a 2-time world champion, I would never have believed them. But I did it, and I'd like to think I did it in the clean, honest, and hard way with discipline and respect to the sport that I love. I'm proud to say that I've made history as the first ever British Olympian boxer to turn professional and to win a world title. And I'm also proud to have been a road warrior or travel wherever I needed to get the fight to win. There's nothing left to prove.
I mean, touching stuff there from James DeGale.
Come on.
I mean, no, he had a good career. I mean, again, Olympic gold medalist, world champion, like multiple times. Like, I don't think people are harsh on James DeGale, but he had a fucking great career. The amount of boxers that have those accolades, a Olympic gold medal, a legit world championship title instead of a WBA regular belt, top dog. Yeah. James DeGale had a great career. If you shit on James DeGale, you kind of are a bad person, in my opinion, or you're just a troll. And then again, trolls are kind of bad people.
Yeah, I mean, look, George Groves, hell of a beef with the guy, and had their issues. Tweeted out, I've given him a lot of stick in the past week after his loss at the weekend, but upon his decision to retire today, I want to wish James DeGale well in the next chapter of his life. You have made the right decision. It is a tough sport and you've reached the highest level. Congratulations. And then you get Andre Ward. James DeGale, congrats, champion. You had a great career and knew when it was time to walk. That is how you do it. Respect. You get Badu Jack, who obviously had an absolute war with. We had a great fight together at James DeGale. At the end of the day, you are the 2-time world champion and Olympic gold medalist. You should be very proud and enjoy your retirement, and God bless. Carl Froch. Okay. He was a great fighter. You have got to give him massive respect for. You have to give massive respect for him. But was he the best of the best? He was not. If we had met, I would have been too strong for him, and I would have backed him up and absolutely smashed him to bits. So yeah, Carl Froch, good fighter and everything, but you weren't the best. And if we'd have fought, I'd have fucking fucked you up, basically.
God, what is his issue, man? The only person I've ever seen him never shit on ever is AJ. I mean, you don't shit on the golden boy of your company. That just makes sense, right? But everyone else has been in his crosshairs at some point. And it's very hard to get off that list with Carl Froch. He is still bitter about Andre Ward. For some reason, he hates James DeGale still. I know they had a beef back in the day, but I mean, yeah. God, who cares about that? You guys didn't even fight. What?
Well, look, he said a few things about how I retired rather than fight him, and he was all wrong for me, and that he would beat me. This is what he was suggesting. I mean, he lost to George Groves. I knocked George Groves out twice. Chris Eubank Jr., who beat DeGale, lost to Groves. So on paper, James DeGale don't really belong in the same ring as me. Let's be honest. But yeah, he had a few things to say. He sucked his teeth at me and tried to have a little bit of a go at me at the Badu Jack fight after the weigh-in. But I straightened him out. I let him realize who he was actually arguing with, and he actually don't want to roll around with me on the cobbles. So let me tell you, I told him to concentrate on Baddy Jack because he can fight, as he found out the next day because he's got his teeth knocked out. This was all today when he was like interviewed on TalkSport. So
very quickly, because UK people obviously watch every IFL interview known to man. I don't watch a single IFL interview because I don't care. Apparently, Carl Froch does shit on AJ. So apparently, he just is that guy. Like, he is just an asshole.
Yeah, when you said it, I mean,
I didn't.
He has said some things in the past, yeah, but I don't know. Sometimes he seems a bit more corporate, and then other times he's like he wants to make a headline, you know.
God
Quite
damn.
often he's a boxing scene article because of what he said on a certain situation. But
the guy is a like, I mean, I've probably a multiple-time champion. I think at least a one-time champion. I know he had a good little title reign for a bit. Made a bunch of good money. Obviously, like, why is he so bitter? I just don't get it. Sad.
Well, have you ever seen? If you really should follow his parody account, because he basically answers every single person on Twitter that. Just like the time I fought George Groves in front of 80,000 fans. He does it to everything. It's like, you know, it could be any tweet from any account from about anything, and he just pops up. Much like the time when I fought George Groves and knocked him out in front of 80,000 fans. It's just always there. It's so good. You could just be randomly going through your Twitter feed, and then you see the Carl Froch parody account, and it always brings a chuckle because he does say that quite a lot. There's a famous video of him and Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is Floyd Mayweather, right? And he's like, yeah, that's right, Floyd, because when I fought George Groves in front, and it's like, oh no, cringe, just stop. We know your fucking resume. We're boxing fans. We're watching you talking about, but we know you fought at Wembley and you knocked out Groves. Oh man, yeah.
He's one of those guys, man. Like, great fighter. Like, I really enjoyed Carl Froch in the ring, right? Like, always a fun guy. Like Top Dog said, like Froch Taylor was a classic. That is a fun fight.
Yeah.
But God, man, he is cringe level 9,000, man. Oh my God.
I mean, look, if we could get Carl Froch type fights every other week or whatever on a card, we'd be very happy because they're great. You know, he was in some great fights, some that he was looking like he was on the verge of losing, and then bang, you know, he really turned it up. But yeah, you know, great fights to watch.
Forgot in the chat saying Froch fought in front of 80,000 people once. But hey, Fu, if you did anything in front of 80,000 people one time, you are definitely telling everyone that story. Definitely. But we have one more topic I just want to briefly mention. Donny Nietes has vacated his WBO belt, I believe, when he was ordered to fight Ashton Pilate in a rematch due to him wanting to take significant fights or big fights to finish his career.
There was talk of him unifying against Cal Yafai on the June AJ undercard. So I don't know now he's vacated whether that's still a significant fight, but I don't know. You know, it'd be I guess a big moment on a big card, but you know,
whatever exactly, Rob. My thoughts exactly. Let's get to callers. 323-870-4051. Press 1 to get in the queue, or call in on Skype. Mixed Combat Radio on Skype. We're going to go to the Skype machine first, though, because we do have callers in the UK. Unrivaled boxing talk and news. What is up?
Hello? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we do.
How you doing, man?
All right, that's fantastic. What was the last thing that we touched on there? Nietes vacating?
Yeah, that was the last thing we touched on.
All right. He won a vacant belt and vacates it. Cool. Good man. I'm trying to remember. Oh, yeah. Did you guys see O'Hara Davis tweet about James DeGale retiring?
No, I did not. Rob?
He said, wow, James DeGale retires and people talk all this stuff about him, but when I retired, people told me to go fuck off. I responded back telling him that when you achieve something in the sport, when you achieve something in the sport, you win an Olympic gold medalist, you become an Olympic gold medal, medalist, and you know you actually have a fight that people don't fall asleep during, maybe there's a possibility people will give a fuck about you.
I actually did see the tweet, and I did actually see your reply.
And deleted his comment like after a
yeah,
minute.
I did actually see his tweet, and I did see your message to him. I did enjoy it.
Yeah, man, he's a bit angsty, isn't he? Now, this Carl Froch bullshit. Carl Froch talking about all the people like that he would beat and everything, but he never brings up the fact that he ducked Adonis Stevenson, does he? Like, let's be real. To all the guys who are like, well, he went and unified with Kessler. Kessler was the regular champion. That's not a legitimate unification, and they promoted it to cover it up in that fashion. That's how that went. He dodged Adonis Stevenson for 18 months. So Stevenson said, fuck this, and he went up to light heavy, and he became a lineal champion. And he beat Chad Dawson, which, in essence, was a good career move, right? Good career move, long haul. Kind of not really, because he's a small light heavyweight with long arms. But Froch dodged the fuck out of him. There's people who've come out and said that Carl Froch had fights fixed, former opponents and everything. Like, Carl Froch we've seen it. Do you guys remember the World Boxing Super Series or whatever it was called, the Super 6?
Yeah.
And the highlight video. Do you remember Carl Froch the night before a fight with his gold digger girlfriend going into a store on video to buy her a $5,000 jacket and said, I live for things like this, even though he only had an 80-gram purse in that fight? The dude's a senile, stupid, egotistical buffoon. And all he's ever done is talk ill of people. And I don't get why he was such a fan favorite. What, because he could take a punch? Yes. As soon as he went in there with a guy who could actually fight on the inside, what happened? He got wrecked. He got absolutely wrecked when his game was taken away from him. He couldn't jab. We seen him get outjobbed by George Groves, and he caught him by a lucky punch. In the second fight, sure, he did well. He did much better in the second fight. He was much more prepared. But him saying that he could beat a guy like DeGale in full pomp, I don't know, it'd be a good fight. A fight I think we'd all enjoy. Because DeGale at his best, like when he was fighting against Darrell and he was fighting against Jack, that DeGale against Carl Froch would be a very good fight. I think we can agree on that, yeah?
Yeah.
But him saying that he's terrible and all this and he shouldn't be brought up in the same conversation as me. Mate, Carl Froch, you're a 2-time world champion. James DeGale, he's a 2-time world champion. You fought in front of 80,000. Congratulations, that's been eclipsed, but James DeGale's the very first ever person from the United Kingdom to win Olympic gold and go on to become a world champion. Something you never even got to achieve because you weren't fucking good enough. That's
Shots fired. Yeah, I like it.
I want smoke.
It is an actual fact. And Carl Froch was one of my favourite fighters growing up because I'm relatively young, right? So I was watching like when he was fighting against Groves and all that shit, and I saw the Kessler fights and everything, and I was like, he can fight. And I saw Taylor, he can fight. He got lucky with the Taylor fight because a lot of people still believe with 10 seconds left that fight shouldn't have been stopped.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
He was losing on every judge's scorecard.
Yeah.
And then he got beat the fuck up by Ward, so he rematched a guy who he had already beaten. And ran from Adonis Stevenson. Then he fights George Groves, who, by the way, guys, wasn't world level at the time, if we all remember, because George Groves was a British champion who had never even been inside the top 10 rankings in the world yet. He was number 12 in the WBA, and that was it. He wasn't in the top 15 in any governing body at the time. So then he goes and fights a British kid, beats him up, and retires. When you think of Carl Froch in that perspective, not exactly the greatest guy ever. Now, last time I called in, Matt, you talked about this tune-up / mandatory thing that broke my damn heart, remember?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wilder getting 15 million for a fucking tune-up breaks my damn heart when I think about the fact that like Jose Ramirez got 300,000 and Orozco got 50 grand for a fight of the year last year. Wilder's getting 15 million to fight Joe Joyce American Incarnate. It scares me. It scares me.
I,
It frightens me. And I don't know if Matt watches much football or soccer. I know Rob watches a bit. He'll be more like, I'm going to go with a little analogy. The boxing market is going the way of the Premier League in terms of finance and world football in general in terms of finance. And what I mean by that is the marketplaces. When you go to transfer a player, for about 12 years, I think Zinedine Zidane was the world record transfer of 45 million, right? And it went to 80 million with Ronaldo. And then for 7 years longer, wasn't touched. And then Pogba was 90 million. Then the following season, PSG bought Neymar for 200 million. And since then, players who are nothing players are going for 60, 70, 80 million pounds because that's the market value, because they've inflated it so high. And the second you start paying people 15 million to go and fight against Dominic Breazeale, do you really think guys like fucking Dillian Whyte's going to take $1 million or $2 million to fight a Joe Parker or a Kownacki? No.
I know, man. It's
It up even more. I mean, good for the fighters. They're getting more money. Congratulations to them. But it's going to cause issues. It's going to cause more debating points. And eventually, instead of us talking about a 50 million contract, people are going to start talking about 150 million contracts. And we're all going to be like, man, I can't even count this shit anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. Yeah. What fighter sees another fighter getting a certain purse for a certain fight? So, especially if it's the likes of Eddie Hearn that are putting this money out.
Yeah,
you know,
but
like
people,
you say,
people now will start
Dillian Whyte
blaming
there.
Eddie Hearn. They'll blame Eddie Hearn for the inflation of the market. Eddie Hearn has to pay this because Al Heyman is paying his fighters like $1 million and shit to fight Travis Kaufman.
I don't know if that is directly the reason. I would say that Tyson.
It's part of the reason.
It is part of the reason. Yes.
Fighters.
Unrivaled. Let me jump in. Let me jump in. Unrivaled. Unrivaled.
Inflated purpose.
Unrivaled.
Showcase fights.
Unrivaled. I can just mute you very fast. So let me jump in here, okay? Again, I don't think any blame is on anyone here individually. It's just the market. If everyone now has more money, people are going to get paid more money. Like, that's just how it works. On top of it, Tyson Fury getting a $100 million check for 5 fights, and then Wilder getting a 5-fight offer, and then Eddie Hearn is directly responding to that situation by his $15 million offer. So I don't know how it's Heyman's fault, to use the word specifically that's being used here, that this offer is being made. And ultimately, yeah, inflation's rising, but I don't understand yet how the argument is made that it is necessarily a negative thing in boxing. If Wilder and AJ's checks goes up, that means eventually Jose Ramirez's checks goes up, like you said. You know, do you think he gets $300,000 3 years ago? I don't know. So, Unrivaled, going back to you to rebuttal. But we do have to wrap up your call just because we do have a lot of callers on the line, unfortunately. Not unfortunately, good thing. But unfortunate for you. So we do rebuttal and then sort of last points, and then we do have to move on to another caller. Unrivaled?
If you had a point, that would have been possible back in the 80s when 2 or 3 fighters' purses rose astronomically and other fighters' purses rose. We didn't see the same situation when Ray Leonard and Hagler were fighting for 10 and 6 million each. We saw other fighters actually take a dive because of the amount of value and the amount of investment from the companies going into it. Do you know what I mean? It's not as simple as just, oh, we're going to give this guy 15 million and then we'll give this guy 7 million when there's a budget.
But the budgets have all increased. That's my point. Is that maybe in the 80s, the budgets didn't increase. And in fact, the budgets decreased over time.
I don't think the budgets have increased. I think the zone are overpaying right now just because they need
to get smart. No. The budgets have increased. In 2015, the combined budget for TV networks for boxing was $60 million.
Okay.
A single network deal nowadays is more than that. Top Rank deal is $90 million. Well, PBC's one with Showtime and Fox is $60 million apiece.
$60 million. Just before you say $60 million, from 2014, Sky Sports has a budget for 2 years. Yeah, Sky Sports alone had a budget for £85 million. from 2014 to 2015, or 42.5 million pounds a year. Now, when you say 60 million combined, it's obviously flawed when 42.5 million pounds is $60 million, and you can look that up. That wasn't the combined amount. It was 60 million alone from Sky.
Did you clearly not hear what I'm saying when I said US TV? The combined US TV. The combined US TV.
The TV networks combined. I didn't hear the US.
Because we have to admit here that the explosion in TV deals is predominantly in the US market, not in the UK. Even though BT now has a deal and ITV has a deal. So we can even make the argument there that we have more TV deals in the UK with more money being thrown out. So the budgets have increased. So again, I don't fundamentally understand what your point is about how these fighters getting a pay increase when the budgets are increasing. So naturally, fighter pay will increase with it. I don't understand how that is necessarily a mistake or how that is necessarily a flaw in the system.
In about 5 to 6 years, you'll probably understand.
I don't think the money's the issue. I think oversaturation is far more the issue than the money. But in Rival, we do have to move on. Thank you for your call.
Yep.
Again, we went from $60 million in US TV network money for boxing in 2015 to now, what, Rob? What's the combined numbers from Top Rank, ESPN, Golden Boy, Matchroom, USA with DAZN, PBC with Fox, Showtime? We're nearing $300, $400, $500 million combined. That is an astronomical increase. Fighter pay should increase at the same rate. So that's just a natural happenstance when it comes to economics. But digressing, let's go out to Gary and Dallas. And Gary, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 callers in the queue. We only have about 30 minutes, so try to make it about 3 to 5 minutes, guys. If you have any questions for me and Rob, try to save it for the end of your call, and we will take them in between calls. I do apologize about this. We did sort of go over time, and I did not expect this many callers. But Gary in Dallas, what is up?
I will try to make it quick, but I make no promises. Real quick, you think the Gale gets a lot of crap, and so I think most people, at least in America, I mean, I know I do. I like the Gale. I mean, I think most people have a healthy respect for the Gale. You don't think so?
I think it's kind of the butt of jokes in a way. Like the way his career's ended.
Other than Froch?
No, Froch is much more of like we make fun of Froch, like we do. But Froch, I would say like we make fun of Froch outside the ring. People make fun of DeGale inside the ring. You get what I'm saying? Like people question his resume. We don't really get that with Froch as much.
Okay, I mean, I think maybe I'm on the outside here, but I thought DeGale had a really good career.
No, he did. He did. Again,
yeah.
My opinion is yours, but I'm saying a lot. There is a vocal portion. I don't know what the percentage is of boxing fans, but there's a vocal minority probably out there that, from what I see on my timeline, they rip on DeGale. He's lost to Jack. He lost to Porky Medina. He's lost to Caleb Truax. He's lost to everyone. He ain't that good, blah, blah, blah. I have seen that quite a bit.
He beat Porky Medina. Did he lose to him also? I know he beat Porky Medina.
Yeah,
he might have lost to him also. Okay.
He did beat Porky Medina, but they say that he lost. They say that he lost. That's the argument.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those. It's one of those, yeah.
Let's say Lara loses this week and then calls it a career, hangs it up, never fights again. Who had a better career, DeGale or Lara? It's pretty competitive. It's pretty even. And no one says Lara had a bad career. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think DeGale is the greatest thing since sliced bread, but I think he's, really good fighter, had a good career. I wanted to ask you real quick. We were talking about the purses for the UFC fights. You were saying that John Jones, and that's a name I know. I mean, I couldn't pick him out of a crowd, so it means he's pretty famous, right? If I know a UFC fighter, I know that name. He did 700,000 pay-per-view sales, and you said he had guaranteed $500,000.
Yes.
And we know that UFC fighters are historically underpaid, like severely underpaid.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think at the end of the night he walked away with? I know he was guaranteed half of it, but $5 million, is that a fair number?
I mean, like we don't know, but speculation. He's making 7 figures, of course. He's probably making $2 to $5 million. But I mean, the pay-per-view split for fighters for UFC fighters is drastically different than top boxers. Like, there's a reason why guys like Deontay Wilder is a complete free agent, because and Anthony Joshua is like that in the U.S. In a way. It gives them ultimate leverage to get what they deserve, monetarily speaking. They know they bring the value. John Jones, unfortunately, does not realize he brings the value, so he accepts the pay-per-view splits that's common in the UFC, and that's what happens. So yeah, around probably $2 to $5 million tops.
Wow, that's amazing. All right, boxing would have got $15 million if he did $700,000. That's a crazy difference.
Well, very very quickly, Gary. Manny Pacquiao made $10 million for a pay-per-view that did $400,000. John Jones should get paid $20 million plus every fight. But he doesn't.
There's also more protection in the UFC, than there is in boxing. So, I mean, you're going to pay for that too, but still, $2 to $5 million for that much revenue is you're underpaid for sure. Deontay Wilder, he has to sign. I mean, we never know what Al Heyman pays his fighters, right? I mean, there's a number, and then that number we know is nowhere near what they actually get paid. But he ain't getting $15 million to fight Dominic Breazeale anywhere else. He has to sign with either Eddie or ESPN. I mean, he has to. Sign with DAZN or sign with ESPN, because he can't get that money from Showtime. I mean, I guess he could,
Why?
But they ain't going to pay him that, right? I mean, CBS could pay him, but they're not going to.
I don't know about that.
Have they paid anyone that much money guaranteed besides Floyd Mayweather?
I was going to say, like, you're forgetting the Mayweather big deal. Canelo for a period of time probably, but I don't know about guarantee. But here's the thing. You know that they don't run off a guarantee like that. You know it's different when it comes to these U.S. promoters and networks. You know how they run is different than the U.K. U.K. is a lot more upfront money than is back-end money. U.S. is different.
I just look at the deal that these fighters are getting. It was like back when you were a kid, and baseball players were getting ridiculous contracts, and then the market just inflated itself, and then A-Rod got that contract, and everyone said, okay, time to hit the brakes, no more contracts like that, right? Something's got to give now, because there's just not that much money in boxing where this is smart for them long term, right? You can't give every fighter $15 million. The call report says, well, now Dominic Breazeale's going to want way more than $1 million if Wilder's getting 15. So it's like this is getting out of control, right? And good for him. I don't care. God bless him. I'm just saying the model right now is not sustainable. I'm paying fighters this much money.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like if the budgets keep increasing, fighter pay is going to naturally have to increase with it. Like and again, like the sport of boxing is so unused to having big time money invested in it, especially in the last 20 plus years, right? Like we're not used to having deals that are even still to this day. Right now, these big time deals we're talking about, they're not on par with big time NBA, NFL, international football, sort of deals. They're still not on par with that. Look at the TV deals that the NFL are getting or the NBA are getting. It's still astronomically bigger than what these boxing deals are. So I just don't know if it's a made up sort of concern. It's speaking specifically about the money. Because again, me and you had a different conversation about oversaturation just when it comes to the amount of product out in the marketplace. That's a different conversation in my mind than inflation and a bubble and a crash. Those are different aspects, in my opinion, to the economy of boxing. But Gary, I will admit we do have to sort of run. Any sort of last things you want to talk about, any sort of last points you want to address, and last questions you want us to take off air?
And then I'll leave it to you because you probably have a better answer. The DAZN, from what I understand, I could be wrong, has about 2 million subscribers. At $10 a month, I don't understand where they're getting. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they're gonna lose money off the bat, but like long term, how is that? How they're not gonna be okay with losing money for the next 5 years. So with 2 million subscribers and the amount of purses and the contracts that they're giving away, where does that money come from? And I'll let you answer. And that's my call.
Thank you, Gary, for the call. Always appreciate it. And enjoy the fights tonight over there in Columbus, Ohio. The last thing I can remember about Columbus, Ohio is I think in like the movie like Tommy Boy with Chris Farley is they're trying to get to like Columbus, Ohio, right? Like there's like Columbus, Ohio is a part of that movie in some aspect when they're trying to get there or something.
Great movie.
Fantastic classic. Oh my God. R.I.P. Chris Farley. But digressing from that, to answer Gary's question, well, there is like multiple revenue streams, right? Like I know it's kind of simple, but like it's kind of like that. I don't think the rumored 1 million to 2 million subscribers in the U.S. is obviously the only point of revenue for DAZN. I think that's pretty obvious. DAZN in other marketplaces is a massive fixture in the entertainment landscape, like in Germany, Japan, Spain. I mean, I know they're starting in Spain, I think this year, but their slate of what they have in terms of licensing rights in Spain for television, it's gonna be insane the amount of money they can make. And on top of that, Gary, you have to understand that they also make the money off of international distribution. So let's say a Canelo fight, right? For example, for Canelo Jacobs, DAZN takes a piece of all the international distribution for that fight. So when it's in Mexico, all throughout Europe, Asia, Africa, wherever that fight is shown, wherever they make deals to make that fight shown, DAZN makes a piece of that. So it's not only the subscribers that they're making money off of. Now, I don't know, again, what those figures are. Like, I don't know how much they're making off international distribution for these fights. I don't know if it offsets costs. I still assume they're losing money right now for DAZN USA. But DAZN as a whole, they're quite successful in other markets. So I don't think it's as much of a concern as some people might think. I'm just worried about, again, when I talk about DAZN being successful in the U.S., I'm talking about them getting a big piece of the sports entertainment landscape in terms of IP, in terms of distribution rights, and that is the big question mark because they are still successful worldwide. They are. But Rob, if I know you mentioned DAZN, I see that you wanted talk about it. So any brief thoughts about this?
No, just like DAZN Italy. I think they've got the rights to the Italian soccer league. So you talk to an Italian male, they fucking love their football. And as it happens, they've got Cristiano Ronaldo as the brand ambassador over there, and he plays for Juventus, an Italian football club. So things like that. They've just signed Neymar as a brand ambassador. I think they might be heading to Brazil with DAZN. So if they get soccer rights in Brazil, I mean, if you've got all these Brazilian people paying $10 equivalent, whatever it is in Brazil, that's insane amount of money coming in. You think a Brazilian man that isn't watching soccer? Come on.
And now I don't know how that money trickles down to DAZN USA, but DAZN as a whole, DAZN as a whole, again, it's a different conversation than DAZN just USA. But digressing, just for the sake, do have to move on, Rob. I do apologize. 816, who is this? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Zulu. How you guys doing today?
What up, Zulu? How you doing?
All right. Hey, real quick, I want to get into it. I want to talk about Luis Ortiz and the fight he has this weekend. And if he wins this fight, which he's pretty much, I'm pretty much sure he's favored to win. The future with him and a possible rematch between him and Deontay Wilder, that being a lucrative pay-per-view event. There's a couple of things I think that we need to discuss or that need to be talked about. Luis Ortiz has been pretty busy. In less than a year, this will be his third fight. And if he happens to win it by a knockout, I think that raised the stock and raised the profile for that rematch to happen again. Now, I understand that his competition hasn't been the greatest, but I kind of consider Luis Ortiz to be a dark horse in the division. What I mean by that, he has an opportunity either between Wilder or Joshua to become a world champion. Even though he may be an underdog in those fights, you can't help but admit the fact that the fight between him and Deontay Wilder was a very, very good fight. In my opinion, it was better than Wilder and Fury. The only thing that made it Fury and Wilder so exciting was really the knockdowns. We see that it's clear that Fury cannot hurt Wilder, but it's not clear that Luis Ortiz can't hurt him. We know he can. So that makes it more of a compelling fight, and one that I think could be a pay-per-view event. I mean, that can really be a big pay-per-view event if we look at the recent activity of Luis Ortiz, and if he pulls it off this weekend and he has to look good doing it, of course, with a knockout. Let's say he goes in there and knocks him out within 5 rounds, impressively. Well, people can say his age and all those things like that. I mean, we don't know how old the man is. By anyone saying, oh, he's 50, that's just ridiculous. That's foolish talk. We don't know how old he is. Whatever it says, he says he's 39, well, he's 39. But he is an exceptional boxer. Do we think, my question to you and to you and Rob, is do we think that this Luis Ortiz, Deontay Wilder rematch, can it garner enough attention to be a pay-per-view event? And would it be one that you would buy? I would buy it, definitely. And that's barring if he can't get Dillian Whyte. If he couldn't get the names we want him to fight, then this should be a real good event, barring that he wins this weekend impressively. Now, what's your guys' opinion?
Zulu, thank you for the call. I do have to move on, though, unfortunately, just because for the sake of time. But I do appreciate the call. Always appreciate your calls. I disagree on a couple of points. I think, again, with the caveat of if we can't get a Fury, AJ, or Whyte fight, am I going to, be hyped for or accepting of a Ortiz rematch? Of course. I mean, that's sort of my list of what I would want. I want an AJ, Fury, Whyte, then a Ortiz rematch in that order if I'm picking sort of what is next for Wilder and who can turn it down and who do we go to next. Again, but digress from that, I don't think it's successful on pay-per-view. I think it does 200 to 250,000 buys. I'll be honest. I don't think it does the same numbers as Fury. I don't see how it does. On top of that, Zulu, I do disagree with your premise that this fight this weekend is somehow a stock building or profile raising fight for Ortiz. It's on a card with little profile. It's on a card that is on Showtime, so you're already getting the same consumer base that will buy a Wilder fight. Expect this card to do sub 400,000 views for an average, for the telecast average especially. And I don't know how, again, that is profile building towards a pay-per-view successful event. Again, the number I've always said, if you hit above 300,000, you're making money. Wilder Fury did that. I don't know if Wilder Ortiz does that. I kind of doubt it. But again, I mean, the overhead cost for that fight is lower than a Fury fight because Fury is getting paid a lot more than Ortiz. So, the break-even point's different. But again, I don't think it's, quote, a successful pay-per-view. I think it's just at this point in time in 2019, a quite, pedestrian pay-per-view buy rate. But again, like the fight, if we can't get those other ones, it's not like the fight's bad. I just don't think it's, quote, pay-per-view. But Rob, your thoughts on this, if you have any?
No, I do agree with you. I think it's a great fight for boxing fans, like
you agree
hardcore.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I do. I think it's a great fight for like almost like hardcore boxing fans. Outside of that sort of pitch to people, I don't think it's grabbing the attention of a lot of casual, which I think a lot of pay-per-views you kind of want. This draws in people from outside the bubble into wanting to watch it, and I don't think Luis Ortiz is that kind of fighter. That the fact he's not really an English-speaking fighter doesn't never help. I think. Look at Fury talked the hell out of this promotion, like bigged it up massively, done all the stuff on stage, clowning Wilder, this, that, and the other. And this only just did, I wouldn't say only just, but it just broke over the 300,000 mark. So I don't know what an Ortiz would do. I don't think it would do very good numbers at all, but I get it. It's a great fight for everyone. And interestingly, Joshua has been saying Ortiz's name quite a little bit recently. And if he can't get Wilder Fury, I think we're going to see potentially Joshua and Ortiz as kind of a continuation, a continuation of this American venture with Joshua, because Ortiz even said, hang on, let me nearly finish.
Just gotta wrap
No,
it up.
he said, be a man of your word and don't be a pussy then if you're calling my name. So that was his latest.
I want a quick answer from you. Quick. No big soliloquy. Okay. What do you think happens first? AJ Ortiz or Wilder versus Ortiz 2? Like, gun to your head, if you had to pick which matchup would happen first in reality, not fantasy land.
AJ Ortiz.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I don't know if I agree with you. I don't know if I disagree with you yet, but okay. Let's go to 305. Santiago, I do see you, but you have not pressed 1. So, Santiago, if you do not press 1 by the time we get done with 305, we're going to head out of here for the day. But 305, potentially the last caller of the day. Let me get some air horns for you. 305, who is this? Where are you calling from?
Tony from Miami.
Tony from Miami, what up?
I'm good, man. You good?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Good, man. Good. I just want to ask the both of you really, like, why does everybody believe in Eddie Hearn so much? Like, time and time again, he's been caught in lies, blatant, clear lies. And now he comes to the table with this $15 million offer, and I just want to know, why do people believe it? It's just more, to me, and I'm not in the industry, but it's just more misguidance. It just, confuse the fans. I don't believe the $15 million offer, and I want your take on that.
Thank you for the call, Tony. I think, why does everyone believe Eddie, or the majority believe Eddie? I think Eddie is just a really good talker. I think it comes simply down to that. Like, he's a good promoter. He's good at promoting his fighters. He's good at shit talking. He's good at all of it. He's good behind a mic. When you can play a crowd, you're sort of that entertainer in a sense. You can get away with a lot. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. Now, with the whole 15 million thing, I don't think it's necessarily a lie or untrue. Who knows? I also don't think that it should be a big deal if it is true. Like, there's no, like, the world's not ending if Eddie Hearn and this 15 million offer is real, guys. Like, it's okay. Like, I think, if anything, that's good for Wilder, because he can go to Showtime and Fox and say, hey, look, these companies are saying I'm worth this. What do you guys think I'm worth? And if any fighter can get their maximum value, that is a good thing. And if this 15 million offer is an ends to a means to get that maximum value for Deontay Wilder from whatever network he is with and aligns with, I think that's a good thing, ultimately, to be honest. But Rob, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, no, I don't necessarily think so many people. Well, I know certain side of things when it comes to, say, like the Wilder Joshua fight. You either believe what Eddie Hearn says, or you believe what.
At least that's what boxing Twitter seems like.
Yeah, but I think on a general rule, a lot of boxing fans know when promoters are talking. You don't necessarily take every single piece of information. Sometimes, especially with like Eddie Hearn, because he's on camera so much, I've almost picked up on some almost like towels, and like, I think that one has a bit more legs to it. Like, that might be actually true, and I'm not sure. There, he's kind of spinning. He's in fast car salesman kind of mode here. He's pitching this one. But other times I think, yeah, he seemed a little bit, more serious there. But, look, you believe who you want. I think Mike Coppinger broke this before he's been on camera talking about this offer, about the 15 million. So I think there's definite truth in there's an offer been sent. If it's the 15 million that Eddie said in front of reporters, I guess the only way we'll find out is if Espinoza shows us the contract. No, if that Wilder side say, yeah, it was a $15 million, but we're not going to take it, or we're considering the offer. The only way we know is if the other side let it be known that he's either talking shit or telling the truth. So,
and plus, I mean, I sort of alluded to this in the chat. Like, Eddie is like out there. He does interviews. He does media. He does a lot of media, but he's out there, period. Like, even though let's say he did 10% of the amount of interviews he did, he would still do 100,000 times more interviews than Al Heyman does. So when these natural two sides go to bat, you have the natural spokesperson, the natural champion, so to speak, of one side constantly talking shit in the media. It's very easy to sort of go along with that when you really only hear one side of the story most of the time. Heyman's not out there doing interviews dispelling any of it. It's maybe an Espinoza, maybe a Finkel, maybe a Lou DiBella, but again, they're not Heyman. I don't really care what Adam Smith really says when it comes to negotiation deals with matchroom fighters, right? Like, I don't give a shit. Like, that's kind of like what Lou DiBella and Shelly Finkel are. Like, they're like that level of exec when it comes to the hierarchy of the company, right? Am I wrong with that?
I never want to ask Lou DiBella anything. It's scary.
Lou DiBella's a nice guy.
Until you say a certain word and it's like a fucking TNT explosion goes off. He's like, goes all Brooklyn on you. He's a guy's fucking lunatic.
Yeah, but he's one of those guys that just goes lunatic about it, not at you. You know what I mean? Like, you can tell, like, I'll put it this way, and this is going to, they don't listen to the show, but like the Charlos, for example, when interviewing the Charlos and then they want to go ballistic on you, they're going at you, right? They're not just going up, they're not just being upset about the topic, right? Lou DiBella is just upset at everything and just is always animated, but he's not really like mad at you, the reporter, like the interviewer. Like, he's just Lou DiBella.
Yeah, I guess.
You know what I'm saying? Like
kind of Brooklyn, I'm sure I saw one.
Person.
And I said, so what's the latest with Joshua? What? And he was like, I don't want to fucking talk about Joshua. Dad, damn it! I fucking Kaka made me fucking. He just went absolutely mental, and I'm like, whoa, he's just flipping out. And I've heard him numerous times, and he like spit coming out when he's shouting. I was like, well, keep that shit inside, man. That's
I love good. Lou, man. Lou's funny. But anyways, obviously this has been Mixed Combat Radio. Wilder, $15 million offer. I guess we now are questioning whether it exists or not. I didn't know we really had to do that. But digressing, Mayweather poaching Ryan Garcia. Go for it. I love the pettiness. And plus, I mean, we have some fights coming up this weekend that like sort of kind of matter. You can watch them, I guess, or you can watch our live fight chat for UFC 235 on Saturday for John Jones versus Anthony Smith and Tyron Woodley versus Kamaru Usman. Rob, don't say anything. I saw that you were leaning towards the mic. You were about to say something witty and snarky.
No.
No, you were, you cunt.
No.
Okay, sit there. It's my outro.
Oh, you brought me into it. Sorry.
Anyways, have a great day, great night, great morning wherever you are. You can find me, Matt Hunter, MCR, all platforms. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe, listen on podcast forum, drop that 5-star review, share the show. Head over to patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio, where all proceeds go towards the show. And for this month exclusively, all proceeds go to Rob and Fugatti to get camera equipment. So go do that. $1 a month gets you 4 extra shows a week. Boxing banter on Sunday, championship rounds on Monday, UK Hour on Wednesday, which comes out to free to the public on Saturday, and also trending now on Friday, which is tomorrow. Rob, over to you. What's up?
Catch you on the next one, maybe Santi. And you obviously didn't press.
Oh my God, my bad. That's on me. Thank you, Rob. I was looking at the chat. I'm like, oh, I didn't see him press 1 either. You know. My bad. Santiago, what is up?
Not much, dude. Just enjoying the outro and listening to Mixed Combat Radio as I drive up to Riverside to go visit my mom. I'll keep my call short and quick. It's amazing to see the money being offered for these guys. I can only imagine what it's going to be like when there is a norm. If this is the norm already or not. And watching the pettiness between Mayweather and De La Hoya reminds me a lot of the rivalry, if you really want to call that after the fact, that Ali and Frazier have with each other, because Joe Frazier, oh man, was he petty as fuck with Ali up until he died, man. I could only imagine the things he would have been saying on his deathbed at that point. Looking forward to the fight on Saturday. Nice to see
90 seconds.
Obviously, I pick him to win. Love to see the Cuban heavyweights back in action again. He's obviously my pick. I don't really have much else to say. You guys just keep doing the good work. Nice to see the show being active and everything. And thank you for helping me kill the traffic.
No problem, Santiago. Have a good drive. Stay safe out there on the road. So back over to the outro. Rob, final thoughts so people know where to find you.
That's right. And
60 seconds.
He knows I got him. You know, he knows I got him. But yeah, thanks everyone in the chat. You know, lively chat as always. You know, I wish you wouldn't trigger Matt like you do sometimes, but it's all right. It's all right. But I just know he can't resist.
I love debating. It's why I do what I do. I love to debate.
Yeah, you get a little angry about it, but it's all right.
I get angry all the time.
Now you're back on Twitter. You can
oh my God,
let out your frustrations, you know?
Yeah, hold on. To all of my followers out there, Rob, why you had to set me off like this? You know you were going to set me off. To all my followers out there, if you are out there and defending Alex Jones and being on Joe Rogan and defending Joe Rogan for doing that, don't follow me. Don't go to Matt Hunter
10
MCR,
seconds.
all platforms. Don't do that. Go to some other channel, some other content, some other media member that's going to fucking coddle your xenophobic and crazy ideas. So fuck off. Rob, back to you.
So yeah, don't you know, try not to tip him over the edge, because
all you free speech warriors out there, freaking what was it, reporting all my tweets talking shit about Alex Jones. You guys are a bunch of snowflakes. Get the fuck out of here. And Top Dog, you're right. WBA regular belt is a banned term on this show. Damn straight. Back to you, Rob.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks everyone. Hit that thumbs up, share the show as usual. Patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio. Putting in that work over there as well. And I'm sorry to the people that seem to think there's too many Patreon shows. It's like, well, sorry about that. It is what it is. But yeah, we're waiting to see on Deontay Wilder's future where it lies. I'm pretty sure it's not going anywhere. It's just going to stay where it is on Showtime and Fox with Al Heyman and the PBC. Yeah, enjoy your fight weekend. I don't know quite what's happening tomorrow with the show, but yeah, enjoy any fights you tuning into, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Tomorrow, by the way, for anyone that, because Rob pointed out, tomorrow's going to be a swing show, so whatever's the biggest news of the day. If it's boxing, we're going to do a boxing regular show at regular time. If it's MMA, we're going to do an MMA regular show regular time, and then obviously trending now later at night with Fugatti. That is the schedule for tomorrow. It's sort of just to see what happens, see what the news is. On Saturday, live fight chat, like I said, for UFC 235. And then Sunday, boxing banter, your boxing review show and news show as well. All that stuff on Sunday. But yeah, see us tomorrow or see us later, or whatever it is. And like Rob said, if you're upset with us doing Patreon shows, we do a show every day at least. So come on, really, you mad? Anyways, have a great day, great night wherever you are. Stay safe out there. Peace.
Later.
Don't be mad on me. Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?
Hey, pussy, are you still there?